Hey there, Celina here. Before we get started, go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button at the bottom of this video to get more research-based nutrition and healthy living videos. So let's get right to it. So erythritol, what is it, how is it produced, and is it safe? So what is it? Erythritol is a naturally produced sweetener, much like stevia, that is produced through the fermentation of some fruits and vegetables. Like corn and wheatgrass, primarily corn. This polyol is expensive to produce due to the fermentation process and the foods required to create it. It was first discovered in 1852, and then it was finally used commercially for food products in 1990 in the Japanese market, and then eventually the whole world. So what is it used for? Erythritol is primarily used as a sweetener in toiletry items such as toothpaste, mouthwash, lotions, soaps, and now specialty foods. So specifically low sugar and no sugar added items for diabetics. This sweetener is increasing in popularity due to its sweetness level being similar to sucrose without that bitter aftertaste, much like stevia. If you use too much, you get a bitter aftertaste. Also, since it is metabolically unchanged, there's little bloating or laxative effect from consumption. And it's also great for baking because you don't need to add any filler to it since it has the same consistency as sugar. You don't need to add the fillers, which can create that laxative effect or a bitter aftertaste. So, is it safe? I know that's the question on everyone's mind is it safe? So studies by the National Institute of Health, the NIH, indicate that erythritol is not mutagenic to bacterial cells and does not cause chromosomal damage in the million cells, either in vitro or in vivo. So laboratory tests were done on groups of 50 rats of both sexes for a period of 104 to 107 weeks, with 2 satellite groups of 20 male rats thrown in there at weeks 52 and 78. They were consuming diets of either 0, 2%, 5%, or 10% erythritol and or 10% mannitol. So body weights were significantly lower than the controlled groups through the most of the study, but survival was not adversely affected by this. Urine samples from the satellite group showed that about 60% of the ingested erythritol was unchanged, meaning 60% was not metabolically digested. Urine volumes increased with increasing levels of dietary erythritol, which is shown across all of the polyols. In line with previous observations on other polyols, erythritol ingestion led to increased excretion of urinary calcium, citrate, and in the 10% erythritol study. And in urinary excretions of sodium, potassium, phosphate, N-acetylglucosaminidase, NAG, gamma-glutamyl transferase, GGT, low molecular weight protein, and total protein were slightly elevated in the urinary excretions in that 10% group. Significantly increased cecum weights, which is the pouch at the junction of your small and large intestines, were seen in rats of either sex in the 10% mannitol group, but slightly less pronounced in the 10% erythritol groups. So the relative weight of the kidneys was the highest in the 10% erythritol group. And lastly, most frequent pelvic nephrocalcinosis, which is increased calcium levels in the kidneys, was seen in female rats of all of the erythritol groups. So, some fun facts. When dissolved, erythritol exhibits a strong cooling effect due to its high negative heat of solution, which is why you can feel that cooling sensation when you're chewing gum that has erythritol in it, or if you eat some cookies that have erythritol. There are little metabolic effects, so we don't experience the same gastrointestinal discomfort commonly found with other sweeteners. It's also a free radical scavenger, with the ability to potentially exercise its antioxidant activity while circulating the body before it's excreted. Erythritol can be found in some grocery stores in the form of Swerve or other products. It is also commercially found in bulk online. You can purchase it on Amazon, but just be careful of any filler products and always read your reviews and double check your sources before purchasing online. So in summary, erythritol is pretty much safe for you across all the studies in bacteria and in rats and over the past 30 years of human consumption. It's really good for your teeth. And just be careful of over-consuming, because it is possible to over-consume anything. And it will cause a bloating and laxative effect if you over-consume it. So just meter it out, everything in moderation. And be mindful that it can cause increased calcium deposits in your kidneys if over-consumed, especially if you're a female rat. So more studies to be done on that. I will let you know what else I find on erythritol and other artificial and natural sweeteners. So thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Work, Eat, Repeat, to help support this channel for more research on nutrition and exercise.